Hey guys, this is Brad and Mike from Dallas Geek, and we're here this week with our review of Spider-Man Homecoming. So, Mike, what'd you think?
I mean, I saw it twice already, so...
yeah.
You slacker.
I've only seen it once.
So are you really qualified to do a review then?
Wow.
Really think about that.
Really?
No, it was good. It was good. It was really good. Exceeded a lot of my expectations. There were some things that I really loved. There were some things that I didn't love.
Yeah.
But like all in all, it was very much what I was hoping it was going to be.
Yeah.
Which was a good movie.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, I was just telling you last night when we saw it that.
Yes, we see movies together. Deal with it.
I think that this movie, not only as a Marvel movie, but as a Spider-Man movie overall, has one of the most compelling villains that Spider-Man and Marvel has put out in recent years.
Plus, he was just fucking evil.
Well, the thing is, though, he was actually relatable, and you could understand why he was doing what he was doing. It wasn't just the big... like the Loki or Red Skull kind of Nazi thing of, well, we just want to take over the world. We want to destroy the world. We want to. It was something grounded, and you could understand his motivations. He wasn't just a generic evil guy.
Even though he really was pretty evil.
Oh no, he was definitely evil. Yeah. But you understood why. He was evil. So that made such a difference. I thought. As the villain, Michael Keaton was... I don't think they could have chosen a better person to play the villain for the movie.
It's good that Keaton's kind of coming back.
Yeah. I mean, between Birdman and now this...
he's going to be an American Assassin. He's got some other stuff.
I think he's got some good stuff coming. Yeah.
It's good.
So, the big question of the whole thing, since we've already talked about the villain, Tom Holland as... Spider-Man.
Oh, so good. So very good.
Since we've mentioned it before, you have two places you got to judge him, as Spider-Man and as Peter Parker. How did he do on both?
Easily the best of any of the big screen adaptations in terms of conveying the personality differences between like him as Peter Parker, the dorky kid that's really awkward and everything like that, and then the confidence and the bravado that he has when he jumps underneath the Spider-Man mask.
Yeah. I definitely agree. I think he was the first actor so far that has understood both Peter Parker and Spider-Man properly. I mean, we've had actors before, as we said during our Spider-Man comparison, that have either understood Spider-Man or Peter Parker and had the other side kind of okay to meh. But Tom Holland got both sides of the character perfect. Yeah. I'm very excited to see what else he can do with the character.
And I'm also glad that they chose a... You okay over there?
Yeah.
You good?
Yeah.
Drink some water. No, I'm also really glad that they chose somebody that's young enough that can actually grow with the role.
Yeah.
Like, because I love Tobey. I love Tobey Maguire, but like he was pretty old when they got into Spider-Man 1.
Yeah. If they were just going to have done a single movie, it would have been fine. But the fact that they were wanting to do multiple iterations of it, that was already pushing it age-wise.
Yeah.
So Tom Holland is perfectly set to be able to continue to grow with the character for as many movies as they want or can do.
Yeah. Which I think is 6. I think his contract is for 6 films.
Ooh.
One of them being Civil War.
Yeah.
And then I guess
I don't remember. It might be, because 6 seems about average for what they do for most of the main Marvel actors right now.
Yeah.
So then the other thing that we were both really talking about last night, some of the reinterpretations of the various characters in the Spider-Man story. I know a lot of people have given grief on the internet and made joke after joke about it.
The internet has people that disagree with stuff?
I mean,
wow.
It is shocking.
Never would have guessed that.
personally, Marissa Tomei as Aunt May, I liked her. I thought she fit the character well. Yeah, traditionally Aunt May has been older, but
I think this is taking a lot of influence from the Ultimate Universe, and in the Ultimate Universe, I think she's younger, if I remember right.
Youngish. She's
not like young, but I mean like she's younger than May was depicted in the original Amazing Spider-Man in her like 70s and 80s.
Yeah, and I mean honestly, if you're just saying that a good Aunt May needs to be someone that you could see feasibly being a role model and adult influence for Peter Parker,
right.
She did a great job of that. I mean, it's Marissa Tomei. There's no question about whether she can act.
Right.
And she did a great job on that, even though she was only in a handful of scenes.
No, she wasn't in enough.
But yeah, no, it was enough. But then the other 2 points of, I think, contention for both of us were the reinterpretations of Michelle,
I still
Mary
don't know
Jane.
if that's supposed to be...
No, it is.
Are you sure, man?
Yeah. That has been made official.
I'm going to have to look that up.
But then also the reinterpretation of Flash.
That's the one that annoyed me the most.
Let's start off with Flash Thompson. I have no problem if you're wanting to change Flash Thompson to be a different race. That's never been an issue for me. What is the issue is that he's supposed to be the star football player and school bully, and instead they made him a scrawny, rich douche. And he just...
I guess that's what passes as a bully these days.
He's not intimidating.
Well, that's just it. Like, so Flash is supposed to be a bully in the sense that he's supposed to, like, torment you, and he's supposed to, like, intimidate you, and he's supposed to make you feel, like, inferior.
Stereotypical, douche jock.
You can do all of that. Now, everybody, the arguments that I've seen on the internet, because, again, people argue on the internet, shocker, was that, well, they're at, like, a school for super smart kids. Like, you're not going to have the typical dumb jocks and everything like that.
No,
which that's fine, but you could also have a smarter guy that's bigger than probably 5'6", 5'7". Like, the kid's a scrawny little twig.
Yeah, I mean, he looked like he was maybe 100, 110 pounds.
In all honesty, he looked about the same size, if not shorter, than Tom Holland.
Oh, yeah. He was definitely skinnier than Tom.
Right.
And it just, if you're trying to make him the bully, it's not very intimidating when you have that direct comparison, and it's just so unimpressive.
Well, yeah, that's just it. So, like, I get that they were going for the more douchey kind of like, oh, this kid's just a dick. Like, which that's fine, but, like, this kid, like, Peter Parker without super Spider-Man strength could pop this kid once in the nose, and he could pop him from about 30 feet away. The kid's nose is so big.
I mean...
And he'd cry and he'd complain, and, like, there was nothing that... When I saw him for the first time, because I saw it before you did.
Yeah.
When I saw him for the first time, I was like, interesting.
Yeah.
And then more interaction, you get into the movie, I was like, dude, like, if you punched this kid once in the face, he would leave you alone forever.
I mean, Tom Felton as Draco Malfoy is a more intimidating bully that could have even worked for Spider-Man, because at least then the personality was, demeaning enough that you could say, well, yeah, he's just a really harsh person. But this Flash, Flash Thompson, this character wasn't even that.
Can we call him DJ Flash?
Oh, please, let's do that. By the way, why are you wanting to make him the amateur DJ? I mean, is that really...
I think it was to play up the douchiness.
I mean, is that really the new way of saying that this is how you know when you're the cool kid in school, if you are the DJ for all the cool parties?
Like, that's just it. I don't think
it.
he was totally the cool kid. I think that he was just such a big dick. And, like, he's super rich.
Mm.
Like, he's involved with just about everything at the school. Like, I think it was just to the point where everybody just kind of... I don't want to say tolerated him, but, like, I think everybody at that school just kind of fed into his bullshit.
He was a very ineffective bully character, and when traditionally Flash Thompson in every version has, at least during the high school years, been considered a real tormentor of Peter Parker. It just didn't work.
Like I said, I think I leaned over to you during the movie. I was like, if you punch that kid once, he would never bother you again.
Yeah. But then we had the other character that we mentioned, Michelle, MJ, Mary Jane. They don't give her last name at any point during the movie, nor is it listed anywhere online. So we can pretty much assume it's probably still going to be Watson, so they can at least say Michelle J. Watson.
Unless they're just going to throw us for a curveball and reveal that she's not. I don't know.
I mean, it was always talked about, even back when she was first cast, that she was going to be the new Mary Jane. But then when they gave her a different first name, it just makes it weird,
right?
Honestly, because if you're going to say she's Mary Jane, make her Mary Jane Watson. I don't care what else you choose to change about her personality, about her appearance. If she's Mary Jane Watson, make her Mary Jane freaking Watson. Don't try to change it up so that everybody's still left guessing. Well, is it still supposed to be her, or
unless it was just purposefully done that way?
I think that was the one major misstep that they made with the main characters in the movie. I think if they had just let her be named Mary Jane, that would have been perfectly fine and would have made so much more sense.
I also think this movie's actually a little bit more PC than I actually caught the first go around.
How so?
Well, so remember in the very beginning, spoilers coming, when they're looking at the kid's hand drawn picture, and he's like, "I used to draw cowboys and Indians." He's like, "Well, it's Native Americans." But, and then you have.
I think that was more a joke at Michael Keaton's character's expense.
Well, no, but so you had that. You had the fact that you made Flash Thompson from the blonde-haired, blue-eyed, white kid, tall, super athlete, basically Aryan poster boy, into a small Indian kid. You had but MJ change it.
That's just going with the change of feel of the movie.
I mean, is it?
Or, if you're going to be going for...
Let me put my tin hat on for a second. Let me conspiracy theory a little bit. I mean, what if this was all in response to... Remember when the Sony emails leaked 3 years ago and there was all that racist shit in them? What if this was all hey, we can be PC?
No, I think that is actually overthinking it. I think this is simply... they are trying to go for a new, younger version of this Spider-Man story arc, and if they were going to be going for a technical prep school in the middle of Queens, the demographics of the school just have to be different because Queens is not the same... does not have the same appearance that it would have back when Spider-Man was first made.
No, you're not wrong.
So, I mean, it's just updating the characters' appearances for the times. I saw some of them worked, some of them didn't, but, I mean, whatever.
I saw that theory thrown around on a couple message boards, and I was like, it's an interesting theory. Especially
but when Sony... since we know that Kevin Feige had such a heavy hand in this, I don't think that... any amount of egg on Amy Pascal's face coming into this was going to that dramatically affect the movie.
Which, there was a lot of egg.
Yeah, I mean...
Which, by the way, Kevin Feige looking like he's going to choke Amy Pascal with his bare hands will never get old. I'm going to love that clip. If you don't know
what we're talking about, just do yourself a favor and look up the Amy Pascal Kevin Feige interview about Homecoming when she talks about the future of the Venom movie and just
it being connected in universes and everything. And Kevin Feige just shoots this look over what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, I mean...
Kevin Feige legit looks like he's going to get out of the chair and choke her with his bare hands. It is one of the greatest things ever.
So, I think we've done enough nitpicking. Let's try to focus for at least a couple minutes on the real meat of the story. So, the interaction that we had between Tom Holland and Michael Keaton
was really good.
I loved their chemistry. If you were needing a solid chemistry between the two lead actors, in this movie to really let Spider-Man latch back on. I don't think they could have done better.
Well, that's just it.
They just work so well together.
Yeah, and it's kind of it kind of comes back to I don't remember if we talked about this or if it was somebody else I was talking to about it. Like throughout the entire movie, he's being treated like a kid by everyone.
Yeah.
And he's trying to be like, no, you guys need to listen to me. Like, I'm telling you all these things.
Tony Stark to Aunt May to his teachers.
But Michael Keaton's the only one that talks to him like they're peers.
Yeah.
When he's like, let me explain to you how the world works. He's like, guys like us that actually do all of the building and all the blue-collar work and stuff like he's not... He's lecturing him a little bit, but he's lecturing him like at like an eye-to-eye level, not a talking down level.
He's recognizing... Peter as a peer, even though there's a massive age difference between them.
Whereas
and that helps.
Like, whereas like Happy just blows him off, Tony Stark blows him off. Like that's still one of my favorite scenes is after something happens.
Yeah, we're not gonna spoil any part of the big climax. It's too awesome.
Tony's chastising him, and Spider-Man looks at me. He's like, "If you'd have listened to me, none of this would have happened."
Yeah.
He's like, I told you. He's like, I tried to tell you. I've been telling you guys the entire movie, and nobody's listening.
And that's the thing. Like every conversation between Peter Parker,
Smith,
my bad. Every conversation between Peter Parker and Tony Stark in this movie, you see Tony talking down to Peter.
Yeah.
You see him barely giving him any credit for anything he's accomplished. And to a certain extent, it's understandable because he is so young.
Right.
But at the same time, it makes that much more of a stark contrast between his relationship with everybody else and his relationship with the villain.
Thus reasserting my theory that Tony Stark is the biggest douchebag in the MCU.
Yeah.
Which we can go on.
We'll have a whole different conversation about that theory.
But then also the one thing that I actually really, really liked was the tone of the movie. It was like a John Hughes 80s, like, Pink, 16 Candles, Breakfast Club, like, coming of age. Like, and that's one thing that Marvel, like, we can, Marvel fanboy, this and that. Like, that's something that Marvel does really well, is each movie has its own tone, its own feel, kind of its own subgenre, and the coming of age teen story, like, even with the whole going to the dance and like the whole thing with gym class where it's like, oh, so your body's changing and this and that, and like just the very stereotypical stuff. It's like it's something that we can all relate to. Yeah, and the fact that you grounded it so much that it's like, he's a 15-year-old kid. Like this is what 15-year-old kids all went through. Yeah, like let's try to make it as relatable and as like like he can swing around and he can stop trains with his bare hands and buses with his bare hands, but like like he's still dealing with this, and like, he's got the girl that he likes. He's going to ask her to homecoming and this and that. Like, it's still very, I just liked that very John Hughes feel that it had to it. Yeah.
So just to go ahead and quickly wrap this up, because we are running short on time now. Yeah. The biggest points for me that I just have to say made the movie, the acting by the two leads, Michael Keaton and Tom Holland, and their chemistry together. How solid of a story that they had for Spider-Man. And it felt like a very Spider-Man story. Yeah. And finally, it set up so many possibilities for future movies, future villains, future story arcs, without obviously slapping you in the face with it. And it just felt right. Yeah. So I think they did an amazing job with this, and I'm very happy.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. Like, this was as good as Spider-Man 2 was. Yeah. And you know how I feel about that movie. Okay. Like, this did a lot of universe building, but it didn't do it to where it was so crowded that you were like, wait, what? Yeah.
So, on that note, I loved it. Highly recommend it.
Yeah. I saw it twice. I'll probably end up seeing it again.
Cool. So, well, then this is Brad and Mike from Dallas Geek saying, see you.